you came back from New York in the 56, I think 56. It was, having studied and worked with Ben Graham, what was the dream? What was the ambition?
Well, it was kind of disgustingly low. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had about $150,000 at that time, and I felt, if I earned 10% on it, that'd be $15,000 a year, and I could live big on that at the time. I was interested in reading and taking courses at the university. I took my father-in-law's course in psychology, and I thought I might go to law school. I knew there were a whole bunch of subjects I wanted to read about. And then I sort of stumbled into this partnership a few months later because 7 members of the family said, we want you to handle our investments. And I didn't want to do it one at a time or tell them what I was doing. So I put the 7 together in a partnership that had $105,100 in it. You can guess who the $100 was.
Yes, I know.
and I thought that was it. And a few months later, a fellow named Homer Dodge, who had been a stockholder of Graham Newman, came out, saw me in Omaha, and he said Graham Newman was liquidating, and he said he'd asked Ben where to put his money, and Ben said maybe Warren would be a good choice. So he joined me for, I think, about $100,000 at the time. And then 4 months later, some fellow in Omaha that read the legal notice, actually, a friend of mine called me up and said, what are you doing? And I told him, and he did it. So yeah, I just kind of stumbled along.
You kind of stumble along.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you have a partnership,
right,
and you're making money.
And I couldn't sell Keo now, understand? But the partnership did well, and part of the partnership was buying what looked like cheap stocks. Berkshire Hathaway looked like a cheap stock. It was a terrible business.
What was your ambition then? Now you have a vehicle.
Yeah. Well, I started out by thinking I was a textile expert, but I was disabused of that notion fairly fast. I really did. I thought, what do these guys know about making textiles? They've only been doing it a few hundred years. I mean, the Egyptians, I think, figured out how to weave.
But I've been in Omaha for a while.
That's right.
I know a lot about textiles.
Just turn me loose at the plant and see what happens. So anyway, what happened was right at that period, the textile business was good for a very short period of time. And so I was like a duck floating on a pond when it was raining. I was going up in the world, but I thought it was because I was flapping my wings, but it was that damn rain that was coming down. And then when it quit raining, I found out, what do I know? Right. Yeah. And then we went into other businesses.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden, was it, you went into other businesses, meaning you had some cash flow coming in?
We had some cash, not very much,
yeah.
But we had some cash around. And when Jack Ringwalt decided to sell his insurance companies in early 67, we paid $8.7 million, I think, $8.4 million, I guess it was, $8.4 million. And we had, in Berkshire, we had, I don't know, maybe $4 or $5 million around. Maybe we borrowed a few million. But
so that was your first entry into the insurance business. Why was the insurance business attractive?
Well, it does control money, and if you've got somebody that's doing a decent job on the insurance end in underwriting, it gives you money to invest on my end.
How much of your revenue comes from the insurance business?
Well, a lot comes from insurance, and then we have a lot of money that's generated by insurance. Right. So insurance has propelled our growth. There's no question about that.
Because it gave you money to work.
It gave us money to both invest in marketable securities and also money to buy businesses outright.
And then in 1965, you have a chance to take over.
Right.
Berkshire. What happened?
After a while, I realized what a lousy business I was in. And we didn't get out of the textile business, but I decided that to the extent we could, we'd try to add on other things. Interestingly enough, Charlie, I'd have been better off if I'd done all the subsequent things without putting them in Berkshire originally. If you just talk financially, Berkshire, the textile business was a drag for 20 years. So if instead of buying these things for Berkshire, we just bought them in a separate entity.
Then why didn't you do that?
I don't know. But it worked out fine. But I don't know.
But everything worked out. But yeah. If you look back.
Looking back, it was a big, fundamental, wrong decision from a financial standpoint.
To get involved in the textile business at all.
Yeah. I should have just gotten out of that and gone on and done these other things.
But tell me why you didn't?
I kind of stick with things.
It's that.
Yeah, I really do. It's just my personality. I'm driving a car after 8 years. I'm living in the same house after 47 years.
Your net worth about that time was about $6 or $7 million.
That probably is about right. Yeah, that's probably about right. Because in 1962, when I put all the partnerships together, it was about $1 million, and when I wound up, it was about 25, and so it probably was.
What are you thinking? I'm just going to